Hey Villa fans, welcome to a match preview for our tough trip to St James's Park on Sunday. Following on from our excellent win last night against Fenerbahce, we now travel to St James's Park. Jacob Ramsey reunion is on the cards, so it's going to be a tough trip. Newcastle are a tough team to play against. I was actually at the first game of the season at Villa Park when we played them, and we drew 0-0. Ezri Konsa picking up a red card in that game. So now it's the trip there to St James's, and we take on Newcastle side that are sitting in 8th position in the Premier League. Probably would feel they could do better. However, they are on 33 points and just 3 points behind Liverpool, who are in 4th. So a win here could really boost them back into Champions League positions. And obviously, they recently enjoyed a really good night in the Champions League. With a win against PSV, 3-0 comfortable win in their last game. Johan Wissa, Anthony Gordon, and our nemesis, Harvey Barnes, who's coming into this game on tremendous form, just our luck. But yeah, he's banging in the goals, left, right, and centre for them. They did have Bruno Guimaraes come off at half-time in this game with an injury, with an ice pack sort of strapped to his, I think it was his ankle. So I think Eddie Howe has sort of said that he's going to give him every chance to play. Bruno's the type of player that wants to play in every single game. So he's not ruled himself out or ruled Bruno out, but it's very much 50-50. And he is someone who, for me, is one of the best midfield players in the Premier League. I really like Bruno Guimaraes. Really good player, great energy, great passing, scores goals, wins the ball back, a lot of passion, just plays with 100% passion. Bruno Guimaraes, so a tremendous player for them. And he's backed up with Tonali, tough tackling Italian midfield player. Again, gets around the pitch really well. And then Joelinton, who's this big physical brute who, we have struggled to contain in games against Newcastle. But I think we'll have a plan to play against that in this game. And he's in your thumbnail. I think Mings Onana coming on for the last 15 minutes last night and showing Fenerbahce what he's all about and that physicality. Hopefully that was just the starter to the dessert of what's happening on Sunday against Newcastle. So last 5 games, as I mentioned, 3-0 win against PSV. So coming into it in good form, 0-0 draw against Wolves, 2-0 defeat against Manchester City, a 3-3 draw against Bournemouth in the Cup, but then going on to win 10-9 on penalties. Harvey Barnes getting 2 in that game and Anthony Gordon again as well. So very dangerous from the flanks, and Newcastle with Gordon and Barnes providing the width. Jacob Murphy is 50-50 for this game, but has also had a good season. And then the last game in this sequence was a 4-3 win against Leeds. Again, Harvey Barnes, 2 goals for Newcastle, Joelinton and Bruno Guimaraes with a penalty in that game. So come into it in good form. Harvey Barnes is having probably the best goal scoring season of his career, 12 goals this season in all competitions. Nick Woltemade, their big physical German striker, sitting on 9 goals with Anthony Gordon. So they're getting goals from, the wings and the centre forwards. Bruno Guimaraes has chipped in with 8 goals this season as well. Joelinton has 5 goals this season. And Johan Wissa is, had a slow start to his Newcastle career because of injury. He's now, looks like he's fit and he's ready to play and start games for them. So I'm sure that he'll get amongst the goals for them as well because he's a really good striker. So, Newcastle selling Alexander Isak in the summer. They spent the money relatively well. Johan Wissa is a good proven striker in the Premier League. Nick Woltemade was probably the gamble, but he is proving like a handful. Big, tall striker, but really good feet as well. Touch of these sort of Berbatovs about him in terms of the way that he kind of plays football and the way that he is. So good signing, a good pickup for them. They've got Bruno Guimaraes on 6 assists this season as well. So he's very key in assisting and scoring goals. So what's that? 14 goal contributions this season for Bruno Guimaraes, which is really, really good. Tonali as well, deep lying midfield player, but has got 5 assists for them. And those 2 are the top assist players for Newcastle this season. So, they're all about the midfield. Midfield engine is there. And defensively, they're coming into this with some injuries of their own. So Fabian Schär, who has, again, been our kind of nemesis and scored in the last few meetings against us, I remember, he's out injured for this game. Dan Burn, the big, tall centre-back, left-back, wherever he plays, is 50-50 for this game. Livramento is long-term out, so he's out. Emil Kraft is out. Jamal Lascelles is out, although I think he could be leaving in this window as well. Bruno Guimaraes, as I mentioned, 50-50, along with Jacob Murphy as well. So they have got a few injuries there. If Bruno Guimaraes does not play, then Jacob Ramsey will probably come into that midfield. If Guimaraes is fit, then I think Ramsey will probably be from the bench. So he hasn't really kicked on his career at Newcastle. A lot of fans saying about him and Elanga have been kind of big money flops. Obviously, what was it 42 million for Jacob Ramsey and 55 for Elanga? So that's where they sort of spent the bulk of the Isak money as well. But Walter Made and Wissa have been good signings, but these two, not so much. Elanga, I'm not too sure about whether he's eligible to play or fit to play. But we'll soon kind of find out, I'm sure, about that as well. So the Villa lineup for this game, I think Marco Bizzo keeps the shirt. Man of the match performance against Fenerbahce last night. Hasn't really put a foot wrong since when he's called upon. And Emi Martinez is just becoming more and more unreliable. Talks about him being, in Italy, or his brother being in Italy, having talks with Inter Milan about joining them in the summer when we're trying to prepare for a game. He's had calf injuries and back injuries. It's a shame, really, the way it's kind of going, but it really feels as though Emi Martinez is, whether he leaves before this window closes, which I doubt, he's definitely going to be moving on in the summer. So we need to start planning kind of long-term now what's going to happen. Bizzo, 34 years of age, experienced, and as I said, hasn't put a foot wrong. So for me, he starts in goal on Sunday. Matty Cash, right back. Garcia's coming on and seeing out the games for us, which is good, but Matty Cash is our best right back. Ezri Konsa, he's had a nice rest against Fenerbahce. Lindelof did really well at right centre-back as well, don't get me wrong. But I think for this one, we're going to need a bit more pace and a bit more mobility. So I'm going Ezri Konsa at right centre-back. Left centre-back, obviously, again, Pau Torres had a nice little break against Fenerbahce. He's a person who gets us playing out from the back, but I get the feeling against Newcastle, we're going to need to be physical. They've got some big lads in there. Walter Made, Joe Linton, Malik Thiaw, the centre-back. So they've got some dangerous players. So I think we're going to... Tyrone Mings stood out against Fenerbahce and manhandled John Duran. Can he go again? Is it too much to ask him maybe not to play the 90 minutes here, but certainly begin the game and give us that sort of power and aerial dominance? Because you can imagine Newcastle will be dangerous from crosses and set pieces. So I would go Tyrone Mings to start this game and have Pau Torres on the bench and maybe bring him on. So Ezri Konsa and Tyrone Mings, the championship centre-back pairing, to link up once again. And then I'm going to go Ian Maatsen at left-back. I know Luca Digne started and finished the game at left-back against Fenerbahce, but I think we need some pace. I think Harvey Barnes, Anthony Gordon, they are just direct runners. So we're going to need, our fullbacks to be nimble. Luca Digne is good, but he went the full 90. I think Ian Maatsen comes in here at left-back, a bit more fresher, a bit more pace, maybe going the other way as well, giving them something to think about attacking-wise. So Ian Maatsen for me at left-back. Amadou Onana, I know we got 15 minutes. I would put him in. Again, the physical, the power, aerial dominance that he gives. I would play Amadou Onana from the start in this game with Yuri Tielemans. So Lamar Bogard, even though he's in my thumbnail, for me, he will come from the bench and help us hopefully see out the game. But for me, I think we need to go experience. We need to go with our best players, and Amadou Onana and Yuri Tielemans in that double pivot, for me, is the way to go forward. Ahead of that, Emi Buendia, I thought did really well when he played. Morgan Rogers as well, playing in the 10, or maybe from the left. And then Jadon Sancho as well, maybe linking up with Maatsen on that left-hand side. But I think, he's got the goal, confidence is up. This is not the time to take him out of the lineup. So give him, see what he can do against Newcastle. Can he stretch the pitch for us? Can he keep, the fullback staying back for Newcastle, likes of Lewis Hall, for example, who likes to get forward. So I think Jadon Sancho to give us an outlet out wide, and then have Rogers and Buendia sort of maybe more tucked in and playing more centrally from that. And then up front, as it stands, time of recording 11 o'clock on Friday, we don't have another striker in the door. So it's Ollie Watkins up front until Tammy Abraham is announced or Mateta is announced. It's going to be Ollie Watkins. He seems to be playing with an injury. I would love to see Maggio on the bench for this one, just to give us a striking option, because we couldn't take off Ollie Watkins last night, and that was a real shame because it looks like he needs it. And he did pick up a little bit of a knock right at the end against that Skriniar, who went down the back of his Achilles. So whether he's going to feel anything there, and whether he can go 90 minutes, I don't want to see Gassond up front. I know that he's still our player. Perhaps he played his best football for Nice as a striker. I just can't see it. I don't see the intelligence. I don't see anything in his body language that says to me that he can play at this level. So I'd rather play a 17-year-old kid in Maggio up front than play Evan Gassond up front. That's just my own personal opinion on that. Score prediction-wise for this one, I'm going to go... We put a lot of effort into Fenerbahce last night. A lot of those are going to be weary legs. I'm glad that Ezri Konsa got a rest and Onana got a bit of a rest, so did Martin. And we brought up some players like Rodgers towards the end and then Buendia. But it's going to be a grueling ask to go to St. James's Park, a big pitch, hostile atmosphere again. The Geordies are very passionate about their club. Newcastle and Harvey Barnes and Gordon in particular on really good form. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. 1-1 draw for Villa. I think Emi Buendia will get a goal for us. A goalmouth scramble and he just sort of taps it in from a yard or something. But 1-1 draw for me, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe if you're new. We are on the journey to 1,000. Who do you want to see in goal? Is it Emi? Is it Bizot keeps his place? Do you want to see Tyrone Mings keeping his place instead of Pau Torres? Ian Martin over Luca Digne? What do you think? Amadou Onana? Do we need the big physical midfield player against the likes of Joe Linton, Walter Made, Malik Thrall? Ollie Watkins up front because there is no one else. Hopefully we can put a new signing on the bench for this game. Tammy Abraham, please, or Jean-Phil Mateta, please, in the next 24 hours. And just, lighten the load a little bit on Ollie Watkins, because I think the expectation on him now is too much. It's like he's playing 90 minutes all the time because he has to. We need to help relieve some pressure on him. So 1-1 for me, Emi Buendia to score our goal. Let me know your thoughts in the prediction, your score predictions in the comments, guys. Please do like, super thanks, super chats, Superman, whatever it's called again. Hype up the channel. Let's get to 1,000 as soon as we can. Up the Villa. Have a good rest of the day and enjoy your weekend. I'll be back at you on Sunday with an instant match reaction. Bye for now.